Hello and welcome to FFDW. I'm Jim Pereira.
And I'm Hal Carroll.
And we'll be bringing you this Week 8 edition of Fantasy Football Done Weekly. Let's jump right into it. Last week we had 5 hits, 6 misses, and 4 average hits.
Not good.
Nah, that wasn't good for us, so it's certainly below our standards. So we worked especially hard this week to ensure you get quality stardom sit-ups. Just know this, we're going to kick some ass this week.
Yeah. Another thing, make sure you sit any players on the Bengals, Chiefs, Patriots, Steelers, Bucks, and the Redskins. Not that you'd be playing anyone on the Redskins.
Why would you want to sit those teams?
Because they're all on a bye this week.
Another week of buys.
Yes.
Ew.
And now, on to our FFDW Tip of the Week segment. So, we're removing the Don't Be Hasty segment from our show from this point on in the season because it's time to officially become hasty. If you enjoyed our Don't Be Hasty segment, don't worry, it'll be back next year from weeks 1 through 7.
Okay, our tip this week is to give you the confidence to bench your brand name players that simply have not been performing. For example, Matt Forte. He's mired in the middle of a sophomore slump, and we don't know when he's going to get out of it this year. He may have a good game here and there, and definitely warrants a start when the matchup looks good. But other than that, you may want to look at other options, or use guys who are currently performing, like Ricky Williams, Ray Rice, or Kevin Smith.
You know Forte's only good game this year is against Detroit?
I know.
Speaking of Forte, you may even want to consider trading him since his playoff schedule looks brutal. That's with Green Bay, Baltimore, and Minnesota on the docket.
Time to trade him.
Our sleeper alert player this week is Chris Beanie Wells, running back for the Cardinals. Arizona may have found its legs in the running game, and he has more talent than Hightower. If you drafted him as a stash and hope guy, his time has arrived. If he's still out there on the waiver wire and you have the room, go get him, since he was only owned in 54% of Sportsline leagues last week. Our only concern with him is his durability, but if he can stay healthy, he has the chance to put up some good numbers down the stretch.
Do you want to tell him why we're advocating a running back on a pass-happy offense?
Sure. First, defenses will be hard-pressed to put 8 men in the box against him due to their pass happiness. Second, Wisenhunt's Steeler background wants to run it down opposing defenses' throats. And third, they should be in most games, which will afford them the opportunity to run.
We also want to mention his next 5 games are against Carolina, Chicago, Seattle, St. Louis, and Tennessee. These teams currently have 8 total wins combined.
Okay, start and sit. Here's a few less than obvious guys, or guys who are often relegated to the bench, that we think are good starts this week. And a few often played players that we think are good sits. On the year, we are 45, 28, and 10. And that's with him having a crappy week last week.
Well, this is my fault!
Okay, I'll take some of the blame here. Here's the stardom players that we've chosen.
Ryan Fitzpatrick versus the Texans.
Didn't he beat you in a bowl several years back?
Yeah, I'm trying to forget that whole thing. Lots of therapy.
Selective memory.
Yeah, what bowl? What Peyton Manning didn't play? I don't know. Alright, back to Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's got to be better than Trent Edwards is right now. I don't think a Tickle Me Elmo doll could do much worse. And they should be playing from behind most of the game like they usually do.
Jay Cutler hosts the Browns. So the Browns are the 3rd worst against the pass this week, and that's because a couple of the bottom 5 are on a bye, and it's time for him to get it done. We say 260 to 280 yards and 2+ TDs.
We do say. Kevin Smith versus the Rams. He's been pretty solid this year, but this is the week he should be more than solid. Plus, he could be getting a Megatron and a Stafford back, which would be huge.
Ricky Williams at the New York Jets. The wheels have come off the Jets D, and Ricky is on a major roll, scoring 5 TDs in the last 4 games. In the words of Steely Dan, Ricky don't lose that number.
Devin Hester versus the Browns. We're going to the well one more time. We think Hester's going to get it done again. That would be 2 weeks in a row. I'm doubling down.
You go, boy. Mike Sims, Dash Walker at the Titans. This should be the last time you see him on our stardoms. After this game, he should officially be a must start, providing he gets to bed on time, of course.
Yeah. This one's for my pop, since he's a diehard 49er fan. It's Vernon Davis at the Colts. That's 6 touchdowns in 4 games. Good fantasy production, but not enough to get a win for those 49ers.
Chargers versus the Raiders. The Chargers may have been dropped. Hey, I've personally dropped them in 2 leagues, but they're a good 1-week replacement if your normal D is on a bye against the hapless Raiders.
Cardinals versus the Panthers. Carolina hasn't had much of a passing game this year, and the Cardinals don't give up much on the ground. And Delhomme likes to throw to the other jerseys.
Yeah, he may have just as many completions to the defense.
Yep, Delhomme, stone cold lock to throw at least 2 interceptions this week.
And Fox gets fired after this season.
That's a guarantee. Here are some other guys we think are good starts. Lee Evans, Miles Austin, Braylon Edwards, Sidney Rice, Tony Romo, David Gerard, and the New Orleans D.
Joe Flacco versus Broncos. Denver has only given up 3 passing TDs on the year, so Flacco looks like he's in trouble here.
Donovan McNabb hosts the Giants. Donnie Mac doesn't look right to me, and that's 2 bad games in a row against crappy defenses. I'd like to add one more thing, Hal. Last week we had Donnie Mac on our sit-ems, and I was going against one of our friendly neighborhood opponents in our other league, our rookie Jeffrey. And I don't know if you're watching the show or not, Jeffrey, but you should have paid a little bit more attention because FFDW did say, sit Donnie Mac last week. And what did that get you? A big fat L.
And thanks for giving him a win, by the way. No Sean Moreno at the Ravens. It's the Ravens. It's in Baltimore. He only has 1 TD on the year. Just sit him and feel good about it come Sunday evening.
Frank Gore at the Colts. It's official. His ankles are made of straw, and the Colts will huff and puff and blow his ass down.
Steve Smith at the Arizona Cardinals. And yes, that's the Carolina variety.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Okay, so we're going out on a bit of a limb here, since 2 Cardinal DBs currently have injury issues. But best case scenario, he puts on a Cardinal jersey and catches a Delhomme pass and runs it in for a touchdown.
That's a defensive DD.
Didn't we say to start the Cardinal D?
We did. Vincent Jackson versus the Raiders. You know the drill. Awesome usually shuts down the number 1 wide receiver, and everyone else feasts on the Raiders.
Yum. John Carlson at the Cowboys. Man, if this line could stop a toddler, this guy could be a top 3 tight end.
49ers at the Colts. Are you kidding me? They're going up against Peyton freaking Manning. We talked to the big guy upstairs, and he assures us that Singletary will not have an aneurysm this weekend. Isn't that right, Jesus?
Yes, there'll be no
That's your upstairs neighbor,
right?
right? Yeah.
Green Bay hosts the Vikings. Minnesota has only scored less than 24 points once this year, and that was against the Steelers. Not a good spot here for the Packers. Favre usually plays well in his spotlight games, and he's been in the spotlight all year. Anyway, here's a few other guys that we think are good sits. Andre Johnson, he has that chest contusion, which also known as a bruise.
Yeah.
Bernard Berrien, T.O., and Brian Westbrook.
Why are you even starting T.O. right now? Thank you for taking the time to watch our show. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be notified when we upload any new weekly videos. Remember, the week we hit 200 subscriptions before week 14 of the regular season, we're going to give away that brand spanking new Purple Jesus jersey to a random subscriber. So click the subscribe button now.
Hey Jim, I'd like to give a quick shout out to all of our brand new friends over on YouTube. Thanks for being our friends, and have a happy and safe Halloween.
Yeah, don't eat too much candy, folks, because we got football on Sunday. Keep the comments, lineup questions, and any feedback coming. Email us at show@ffdw.net. I'd also like to remind you we're on Twitter, so sign up at FFDW to keep all your late-breaking fantasy news coming to your Twitter feed. So on that, good luck to you all this week, and may your players stay healthy
And your points be plentiful.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.